everybody, and thanks for tuning into my channel. Tonight we're going to be talking about Leos. Okay, so if you are aware of my chart, you know that I am a Gemini. However, my moon is in Aries and my rising is in Sagittarius. So I get busy with the fire signs. Okay, I do. What's the matter, baby? I get busy with the fire signs. So, what's the matter? What? I get busy with the fire signs and they can't fuck with me. Now, Leos in particularly, they try. They try the best that they can to, do what the fuck they gotta do because Leos have an ego. But for one, so do Geminis and so do Aries and fucking Sagittarius. So my ego is extremely big and you cannot fuck with me when it comes to shit like that. Now, the first Leo that I dealt with when I was 15. 15, I think. He was a little bit older than me. It was in high school and he had me fucked up right from the rip. I met him at a party, my party that I threw at my house when I had first moved to East Orange. Your ass is getting on my nerves, okay? I'm telling you now. This kitty is a Cancer, and he is clingy. On top of the fact that he's a baby, he's clingy, okay? I mean, like, extremely clingy. Here. I don't know what you want from me. So yeah, okay, back inside your shit you go. So you gonna hop the fuck out too. And then it got attitude. Real bad one. So the first one that I met at a party, and he was cute, and he had an ego, and Geminis love them. A motherfucker with an ego. Ooh, it looks so good on a motherfucker, don't it? So, everybody else is all, dancing and doing their shit, and he's just sitting there because he's too good for this shit, okay? He's too good for you, ho. He's too good for them hoes over there. Just too good for everybody. And my little introverted ass, even though I was shaking ass, I was like, who the fuck is this? So he leaves out, and he's like, about to leave. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, sir. Where the fuck are you going? You ain't see all his ass shaking here? Why are you leaving? And he's like, well, it's not really my thing. So I'm like, well, maybe we can do this a little one-on-one. Mind you, I'm only like 15, but I'm spitting the fuck game. He had to be like 16 or 17. So I'm like, well, give me a number. This is back when I think Chirps, like, the Boost Mobile or the Nextel shit was jumping and you could try. So I'm like, give me a number and, we'll talk. I think the first time, we like talked casually on the phone. He wasn't really like a texter or a caller. We were like real weird. Like neither one of us really wanted to say, shit to each other. We wanted to meet in person. So a couple of days passed and we was walking back and forth from school. It just so happened that we were in the same school, but at the time I think I was like transitioning from middle school to high school. No, I think the 9th grade was separate from the rest of the school, and I think I was transitioning over from the 9th to the 10th, but I didn't go to the 10th grade there. I went to another school. So at the end of the year, I was walking home with him, but I was supposed to transfer over and I never did. But long story short, he's walking me home and we're talking or whatever. And he's telling me, that he's from out here. He grew up out here, whatever, because I wasn't from the same area that he was from. Okay, shit was cool. He wasn't never like a lovey-dovey, person, but he was just real cool. So he had a brother or like a friend. He was in a gang or whatever. And he had this friend who had this apartment around the corner from where I stayed at. So the majority of the time when I wanted to see him back then, because we were young, I would go to his friend's house. And I forget what his friend's sign was. Or did I ever even know it? Anyway, he was really cool too. We wound up being like, you know, best friends after the situation I'm about to tell you. But some way, somehow, me and the Leo had got extra close and we started fucking. And when I say we was fucking, for us to be that young, we should not have been fucking like that. But that's the chemistry that Leos and Geminis have. First of all, it is extremely magnetic, okay? Because like they say, you know, opposites attract. And I feel like in a lot of ways we're very opposite, but the only thing that is very secure about us is the fact that we both are on the same wavelength when it comes to intellect as well as manipulation, because Geminis can manipulate the fuck out of a situation, and so can Leo. Plus our egos are on point. And if you are the prissy Gemini such as myself, and then you have the masculine Gemini, the masculine Leo like he was, that, you know, kept themselves up, you two were like, you know, kind of a fit for each other. So I was bragging on him, he was bragging on me. It was perfect. Well, not so much, because my Leo was a cheater as well. That's another thing that Leos are known for. And, you know, from the very beginning, you know, since he was bragging on me because I was the cute younger girl, bitch, I know you fucking lying. You better not fall. Since, you know, I was the younger cute bitch, he was flaunting me around. Meanwhile, back at the band camp, he still was hitting the bitches, you know, from behind the bleachers and shit. So after a while, I had started finding out about other chicks that he was dealing with, but I just wasn't ready to let him go. So, you know, I did what bitches do when they're not ready to let go of their nigga. I cried pregnant. Now, it wasn't the best thing to do. I was young, but it worked. And it worked for a very long fucking time. When I say it worked for a very long time, that motherfucker thought I had a baby, okay? I got stretch marks and everything from poking my stomach out for so fucking long. I got stretch marks from faking a pregnancy. And then I really got the fucking stretch mark. God said, bitch, you want to play? Let's play. So it just so happened that one of my cousins was pregnant at the same time, you know, as I was faking the pregnancy, and she really had a baby. So the whole 9 months, okay, I stayed with him. Okay, the whole 9 months I stayed with him. I ran away from my mother's house. I was, bitch, call me later. You know where I'm at. I was with my man, okay? And he wasn't shit, okay? When I say he wasn't shit, if I was really pregnant, bitch, he did me dirty. He was cursing me out. I was all types of bitches and hoes, and you know, he had I think like during the summertime, he had got a job, and that motherfucker was like doing whatever he wanted to do with his money. Girl, it was horrible. It was horrible. But finally, when it came time for the baby to get here, and he couldn't find me, you know, he was like hitting me up. All his friends was hitting me up. Everybody was hitting me up like, where the fuck did she go? I was out. I went all the way out of state. I went to go stay with my cousin that actually had the baby. And then I started posting pictures of me with my cousin's baby. So he thought like, yo, this bitch really just ran off and had my baby. So moving forward, because I ghosted forever, okay? None of them, the friend that I told you I was really close with, he would hit me up sometimes like, how's the baby? I would lie. I never let up on that shit. For a long time, they would hit me up and be like, you know, where's the baby at? You know, how's the baby? And then finally, he was scandalous too. It was another girl that really had a baby by him when me and him was supposed to have a baby, come to find out. So, whatever. Time had went on. About a couple years later, whatever. Couple years later, he hit me up and he's like, you know, so why did you lie? And I'm like, bitch, what the fuck you mean, why did I lie? The whole fucking time I was fucking with you, you was cheating on me, and I ain't want you to leave. I didn't want you to leave me. So he was like, but I wasn't leaving. You know, I wasn't never going to leave you anyway, so you didn't have to do all that. Whatever. He hit me up like last year trying to spit his fucking game with 6 kids looking like somebody's fucking grandfather. It's a strong no for me, sir. As a matter of fact, God makes everything happen for a reason, because I could have very well gotten pregnant by him because we were fucking, okay? But, whoop, dodge that bullet. That motherfucker got 6 kids and a dog with no job. Wasn't in my plan. So, my next Leo I had met when I was, I want to say 22, 23. Now, if you remember the story that I was telling you about my baby father, the reason why he cut me was because of the Leo. Okay. So now I met the Leo because I met the Leo while I was going to court. Okay. I was like the ride or die chick with my baby father. So, you know, a learning curve lesson that I can teach other people, because I think I'm going to go to school to do guidance counseling, because I could tell motherfuckers some shit about my life. Now, when I was about 19 and I had just found out, or I don't even think I knew I was pregnant yet, I told y'all my baby father sold drugs. So I was living with him, and, you know, shit happens, you know. So long story short, I was going to court for that. And, you know, I had a lady judge, okay? And I had not been going to court for this charge that I had got for quite some fucking time, because I was scared. Bitch, it was my first, you know, charge. I ain't even had no business, you know. It wasn't, they ain't had nothing to do with me, but because it's my nigga and my nigga tell me to do something, I'm gonna do it. So now I'm trying to get my life together, and I have to clear this warrant up, and it doesn't even fit me at all. So when I go to court, the judge is like, bitch, what are you doing here? And, you know, I'm honest with her at this point, because my baby father's in jail. So I'm like, listen, it wasn't me, it was him. I was trying to keep him out of jail, but clearly he's still in jail. You can look at all his charges. It's always been him. And they like, since you want to be a ride or die chick, let me let you write a letter on why you don't want to be a ride or die chick, so we can make sure that this never happens again. Embarrassing. I still fuck with that judge to this day. She's one of my mentors. We're cool as fuck now. She's probably watching this. Hey, baby. She is one of the reasons why I started my page. I have some of the most closest, you know, people in my life from situations like that. So the Leo was the bailiff for the judge. So, you know, I'm outside, and again, I'm young, I'm cute. Back in the day, I was horrible, okay? I was very pretty, but I knew that. Again, I had a very big ego, so I wasn't shit. So I'm sitting there, and, you know, I have to wait for my turn to see the judge, you know, to tell this poem about why I won't be a ride or die chick. I don't want to wait. So I'm talking to the fucking bailiff, black tall guy. He's kind of cute, but he old as fuck. I'm only like 23, 24. He like 35. Easy. So I'm like, you know, tits out. What's up? Can you get me in there? And he like, I can get you in there. And I'm like, okay, so then how you gonna do it? He like, well, first you gotta give me a number. And I'm like, what am I giving you my number for? What are you gonna do for me? And he's like, oh, well, what do you want? Like, first of all, your little young ass don't know what to do with me. And we like going back and forth. And everybody is just sitting here around us, listening to us go back and forth about what we gonna do to each other. So I get in court or whatever, and I tell the story. Hurry up. Can't tell these stories around my kids. Hold on. Hi, Papa. You all in my business. This is stories that my cat don't even need to hear, okay? Don't nobody need no ride or die kitten. Hurry up!
I'm wiping myself.
Every time it's story time, she wants to sneak her head out the fucking the door. You got 2 scoops of coochie. Could you hurry up?
Okay. Happy now?
Yes, go in your room. I'll be even happier. Shut the door. Okay, so. Okay. Now, you know, at first I'm just playing with this nigga. I don't want him. You know, he old as fuck. But then he started to text me, okay? And one thing about them Leos is when they want you, baby, they want you, and they will do what they need to do to get you. So the first night or whatever, mind you, again, I'm trying to get my life together. I ain't got shit. I got an apartment. Did I have a car at that time? I may have had a car. But, you know, I was real lightweight. This motherfucker clearly was heavyweight. You working for the city. What's up? So he's like, immediately, he's like, you know, what do you want to do? And I'm like, what do you mean what I want to do? He like, well, clearly you don't have no fucking job. And you're in school, but you ain't graduated. You got this 1-year-old baby. What do you want to do with your life? And I'm like, I don't know. Right now, you know, I want to finish my education. He like, but that's not putting no money in your pocket. One thing about Leos is they're about their fucking money, okay? And if I don't give a fuck what they want to do with you. If they like you, they want you to have your shit together too. So he's like, what? You got to do something, you know? And this is like when we're just on the phone. We're not seeing each other or nothing yet. And, you know, I'm like, well, I'm still trying to figure myself out right now, you know. He like, let me help you then. So I'm like, okay. He's like, well, do you have your license? I'm like, no. He's like, okay, that's another big one. So we're going to have to do step by step. So he's like, I'm having game night at my house. You know, my cousin is here. Bring your friend and we can all have, like, you know, a get together. So I bring my friend. She's from around the way, but she's really pretty, you know. And his cousin was like from down south or whatever. So they come and get us nice ass cars. I think he had like a BMW. His cousin had like a rental or something. And we go get mad shit, liquor, alcohol. I mean, like snacks and shit. And we go to their house and we playing cards. And I mean, we have a good, I don't even think I've had that type of instant chemistry. Have I? I haven't had that instant chemistry with somebody since. Like, I could say that with all honesty. So, my friend, with her fast ass, Barbara, she leaves me and goes in the room with the cousin. They don't come out. This is over. Date night is over. They're in the room, and I'm sitting here with the Leo. I'm sober. I'm not really a drinker. I don't like alcohol. I rather smoke. That's just my thing. When I get drunk, I get stupid. I get horny. I don't like that. Okay, I like to be in control of all of this. So I'm sitting here looking dumb, and now we playing 2-man spades. And he like, so what you want to do? And I'm like, so what you want to do? Okay. And next thing I know, we're in the next room. We're in the next room over. We're having sex too. And I'm like, okay, it's perfect. But he is like, bitch, where did you come from? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He like, are you a prostitute? And I'm like, what? He's like, cause you too young to be fucking like that. And I'm like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? Because remember, he's a lot older than me. He's like, you know, why are you like, yo, you kind of scared me a little bit. Like, bitch, you gotta be a hoe, because there's not no way. And I'm like, I won't necessarily say that I'm a hoe, but, you know, I never made love, but I never did. But I sure know how to fuck. Like, that's my energy, just period. So I'm like, you know, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, sir, but I'm starting to get insulted, so I'm gonna go home. That motherfucker was like, no, you're not going home. I'm gonna take you to go get some more clothes from your house, and you're coming the fuck back. I lived with that nigga for 2 years, okay? Now, I never went home, okay? My baby father was locked up. He had a 2-bedroom. This Leo didn't have no fucking kids. He had his own apartment. And listen, when I say from the day I met him till 2 years later when my baby father came home, I never, ever went home. He was taking care of all the bills. He put me through SORA classes so I could get my security license. I didn't do it. He put my son in daycare down the street from the place. I didn't go. He did everything that he needed to do, but the way I looked at it was, bitch, I am a young bitch. You old as fuck. You want me here. You're going to take care of me, or I can always go home, because I kept my apartment regardless. So within that time frame, he started doing bullshit, and this is the part that gets juicy. So, you know, my son is there. Okay, when I first met him, my son wasn't there or whatever. My son, I don't know where the fuck, I think my son was in Georgia. My son's family is from Georgia. Well, his father's family is from Georgia. So he was with them when I met the Leo. And that's how it is every time I meet a nigga that I want to get serious with. My son be going, I be outside. So, you know, me and him get serious in them 2 months, because we're together every day. I mean, he leaving to go to work. He leaving me in his house. You know, he picking me up. I'm going to his family house, because he's there real close to their family. So every night when he get off of work, we having family night at his cousin's house, or we going to his father's house, which was right next door. Or it was just like, I was like in, okay? So, and then my son comes, and my son is only like 1.5 or 2 at this time. And he's like, listen, I'm like, my son is about to come home, so I'm going to have to go home or whatever. I'm not really ready, you know, for you to meet my son. That motherfucker was like, do your son got his own room at your house? I'm like, yeah. He like, but I bet it ain't no fucking king size bed, because the bed that was in the extra room that my friend had slept in with his cousin was like an empty room, because he just had a 2-bedroom for no reason. It was supposed to be a guest room. He like, this is your son's room now. You bring his stuff. He got his own drawers. He got everything in here. He can have toys in here. All you got to do is keep the room clean, keep the house clean. This is your son's room. Okay, like, okay, so my son get there or whatever, and he meets my son, and him and my son is like this. But I'm noticing that he's a little jealous of the connection that me and my son have. It's like him and his mother didn't have a good relationship. So he didn't understand the bond that I had with my son. So it was like, you know, even for a 1-year-old, you know, doing bad shit, you're supposed to pop them and shit like that. I'm still not like that with my son to this day. I don't have to do all of that. I mean, he getting to that stage as a teenager where you gotta keep a stick around. But even still, a lot of times I don't have to really keep a stick around no more, because he know, bitch, I will hit you with this motherfucker. But back then he was so little, you know, I used to let him get away with a lot of shit because he a baby. Well, not so much with this motherfucker. He felt like it was his house, and oh my God, if he touches this, you pop him. And if he, everything was, you pop him. You feel me? I didn't like that. So one night we went to his father's house. This was maybe like a month after my son came home. We went to his father's house, and his father like had this caveman thing going in the basement, and we was all in the basement, and my son had knocked, like pulled, like, you know how back in the day they used to have like the DVDs and like these racks, and you had to slide them in individual. My son's pulled one of the DVDs out, and the whole thing fell. He picked my son up and popped him. I like to die. The father liked to die too. The father was like, how you going to hit somebody else's kid? He like, this my son. He like, nigga, you ain't got no son. I'm like, bitch, is you crazy? Yo, that shit got over It went way over what it was supposed to, okay? Because my thing is, I don't give a fuck what you felt like you were doing or what you felt like the intent is. Bitch, don't put your fucking hands on my child. So I done called the motherfucking cab. I'm on my way home. Bitch, you will never see me again. He started crying. I don't know what to do. I thought I was doing the right thing. He don't have no father. I'm just making sure that he does the right thing. And so, why the fuck are you out the room again?
Can I get my chips?
What chips?
My Doritos.
Hurry up. I don't find shit funny. Because every time I go live, you just gonna roll your ass around here. Shut the door. So, you know, we had a whole thing. It was a big thing. And then I went home and he cried at my doorstep. Okay, I lived in a hood, okay? Like the places where you gotta bring your gun with you. And that motherfucker was outside my door with his gun. Don't get it fucked up. Crying because, mind you, he's a bailiff, so he legally can have his gun out in the open is at that, because he is allowed to carry it in the open to protect himself, because, you know, outside of court motherfuckers be mad. So he's at my door and he is crying at the top of his fucking lungs. I can't believe this. You don't understand. I love that boy. I would never hurt that boy. I would never hurt you. Okay, sir. So then I let him in my apartment. Now, my apartment wasn't like his apartment. My apartment was a regular old full-size bed. We talking about a 6'4" motherfucker. Full-size bed, one couch. I got a 2-bedroom. My baby got a little toddler bed. What you want to do in here? Okay? He stayed. Okay? We were inseparable. Okay? He didn't give a fuck what the situation was. I mean, it was so bad that when he got like after I got out of school and I picked up my son, I would have to meet him at his job, and my son and me would play in the judge's chambers until he got off work. That's how we were. So after we got past that thing, which was my first big red flag, I think it was Mother's Day. Mother's Day in New Jersey, in Newark, they have a bike fest, okay? It's on Springfield Avenue, and they like put a show on for all the mothers, and he lived around that area. So my son, him, and his family all had like this cookout, and they were standing in the front, but he was like, you know, I want you to go have fun, enjoy your Mother's Day, so I am going to keep your son while you go around the corner and have fun or whatever, but bitch, have fun, don't get beside yourself. So by this time, we had been together for maybe about, I want to say a year and a half, because my birthday had passed. So a year and a half, okay? And he keeps the baby. Me and his cousin go outside, and then his aunt, it's him and his aunt are barbecuing, and they got my son. And then it's me and his cousin, which is like around the same age as me. She's a tourist. We go and we walk around for the bike fest. So when we come back, it's this Puerto Rican chick there, and she's holding my child. So I'm like, who the fuck is this? And she's like, oh my God, your baby is so pretty. And I'm like, no, bitch. Who are you and what the fuck are you doing here in my house? And she's like, no, I'm his friend or whatever. So I'm like, okay. So she's there, she's helping cook throughout the day. And then his cousin has a baby the same age as my son. So she's like, I'm gonna take the kids to my house or whatever, because we still had a lot going on at his house. And aside, my son was getting sleepy. So she took my son, and then it's just us in the house. So the girl is getting drunk. And she's like, I want to eat your pussy. And I'm like, what? And mind you, she's serious. She like, you know, come. I'm in the bathroom. I go pee. She comes with me. She pulls my panties down, and she's like, let me smell it. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, you know. Now, you know, if she does it, and some way, somehow, I always got to go with some way, somehow, because we're on YouTube and I have to be discreet. But some way, somehow, we wound up having a threesome. Okay. So, you know, she leaves or whatever, and I'm laying in the bed with him, and I'm like, did you set that up? Because I don't even like girls. How did this all just wind up coming about? This is Leo's being manipulative. Why would I have her come over here and do that to you? And why would no, of course not. Okay, I let it slide. It was a wild night. It's Mother's Day, whatever. Early happy birthday. My birthday was a couple of weeks, whatever. So, I see her again. Now we outside, and she's like, I love you. I love you. I don't even like guys. I like you. Andrew said that I would like, I said his name. He said that, you know, I would like you. He said what? He said that I would like you. So he did send you to my fucking house. So I was set up for a threesome. Okay. So I get home. And I'm packing my fucking shit. And I'm not packing my shit because we had a threesome. Fuck. Good fuck. I'm packing my shit because, bitch, you lied. And on top of the fact you lied, you really had this bitch coerce me. Like, you had this bitch follow me in the bathroom. What if I didn't want to do it? I take him back. I took him back. I didn't feel like it was that big of a deal. I just was mad that he lied. I take him back. Okay? So, the next time, we have him and his, I think my mother has my son. It's a weekend. On the weekends, we always have company. Like, that was our thing. We had, like, game night, stuff like that. And some little Jamaican bitch is coming up my steps. The doorbell rang, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? And he like, oh, that's my friend or whatever. Cool. She comes upstairs, and he is flirting with this bitch in my face. And when I say he's flirting with her in my face, I mean he is giggling and cooing. Like, and if you know a Leo, you know how Leos are when they flirt and they be all googly eyed and girl, guys, whoever's watching. So, I'm just sitting here and I'm watching him because I'm trying to figure out where exactly he trying to go with this. Because at this time I was living there. Okay, I'm living here. Which how you about to play this off and I'm with you all the time and you about to have this bitch. So, I tell the girl to get the fuck out. Like, I couldn't take it no more because it was a disrespect right in my face. So I'm like, listen, okay, I don't know exactly how it happened because his cousin was cracking the fuck up. But it was like real blunt, like, excuse me, get your shit and get the fuck out. And he was like, how you gonna put her out of my house? Bitch, either you want her in the house or you want to get out your own fucking house. How you want to do this? He walked that bitch downstairs. When he walked that bitch downstairs, I whooped his ass. That was the first fight we got into, and that's where this came from. I don't know if you could see it. It's old. He smushed my head. I had these hoop earrings, and yeah, you can see it a little bit right here. I had these earrings on, but it was like those fake bamboo earrings. They really, really sharp at the tip. It fell off, and he was trying to hold me down, and he smushed my head into the carpet, and it scraped the side of my fucking forehead. I went off. Don't you bring no bitch around me to try to fucking play me the fuck out. Well, who the fuck you think you are? I don't give a fuck who house this is. I will burn this bitch down. That was the third red flag, okay? It only takes three. 3 strikes and you supposed to be the fuck out. Well, later on that night, mind you, we used to have like magical fuck in between them boring ass days where we would just, I'm skipping so much, but that's because it's so irrelevant. Because when I say we were like regular happy, he had a schedule. He had to work from 7 to like 5 or 6, and then every night by the time he got home, I was cooking dinner. Okay, I didn't work, so I was in the house all fucking day and all fucking night. Okay, he wasn't doing nothing but going to work and coming home. He didn't do anything. Only time I would go out is when we went out to do stuff or go to his family, or his family would come to my house. Other than that, I was just sitting in the fucking house. Okay. It was nothing to talk about. Only thing I could say about what the fuck happened was shit that happened while we were together, because we always were together. So now, one day again, I'm in the house and he's supposed to be the fuck at work, and I'm on Facebook and I'm on his page. And he posted a picture at Applebee's with a Puerto Rican bitch. And I'm like, and I mean, it was a fucking coast cooing picture. Like, this my head, this her head picture. Bitch, you want a date while I'm in your house? I ain't say nothing. I waited till he got home. And I said, take me home. Because he hated that. Bitch, take you home. You are home. I had all my shit packed. Take me the fuck home. Because for some reason in America, you thought it was okay to even post that. And everybody know I live here. Everybody knows that we're together. Everybody knows what the fuck is going on here. Why? Oh, that's just my co-worker. You can't be so insecure. Okay. So why would you think that you needed to take your co-worker out to eat, but you ain't take me out to eat in weeks? Okay. So he's like, what the fuck you mean? I'm always with you. I can't take why would you be taking your coworker out to eat? The fuck? So the next day, I carry my ass down there, because I told you every day I would get out of school and I would go down to his job and wait. Well, this particular day, I didn't go into the chambers. This particular day, I went right to the information office and I played the video, because by that time, I had got cool with bitches at his job. So I played the picture. I want to know which one of these bitches is your co-workers that you went to lunch with. Okay? And they told me it was the public defender. I can't say her name because the bitch probably would sue me. And the bitch comes in and she's like, I don't even look. I just asked. I didn't, go to her and say nothing. I asked them who she was so I could know what her title was. And when I found out she was a public defender, I sat the fuck down. And I went, and I approached him. I'm like, why would you do that with somebody that's so close? Again, he acted like it was platonic. Well, homegirl came and looked for me after she found out that I was asking about her. And she was like, well, I just wanted to know, what exactly you wanted to know about us. She's like, he paid for my car note. He paid for a few things. And he was like, I needed help. And I was just telling him and other people at the job that I was in arrears and I needed help because my boyfriend left me and he offered to pay. So you a trick now. So I got my shit and I left. Okay. This is the third time. Yeah, this was the third time I left. But this time when I left and I broke all his shit. Okay. I mean, because when she approached me, he was still in the court. They can't leave out of court. They have to attend to whatever they attend to. So he didn't even know this shit was happening. I was in the chambers. My son was in the chambers. He didn't know that I was doing all this bullshit. By the time he came home, bitch, I had created sorcery in his house. Okay? I had poured water in all the fucking flat screen TVs. I had broke all the fucking computers. He had 2 computers and a laptop. Bitch, it was done. I had gotten to the point where he had a shotgun. I had poured rice down the fucking barrel of his shotgun. He was so distorted when he came home. And I wasn't even done. He came home and, he was like, you know what, bitch, you got that. But you do another motherfucking thing and I'm going to call the cops on you. I was like, you don't have to worry about it. You ain't never going to see me again. Couple days go by. He crying again. Oh, I just want to see you. I'll pick you up. And I wasn't staying at my house. I went to go stay at my grandmother's house. He went to pick. She lived kind of far from him. And he's like, you know what? I'll come pick you up from her. He drove all the way up there to pick me up, to bring me back to his house. And I fucked him. And then when I got there, I seen that he had condoms. And I lost it again. So when he went to sleep that night, I plucked the battery pieces out his fucking phone. Bitch, you bet you won't call me no more after that. He called me from his job and said, you did it again. It's inevitable with you. I can't make this shit up. I can't believe you did this to me. So at that time, my baby father was about to come home. So I was like, you know what? You didn't dog me the fuck out. You didn't dog me the fuck out, and I ain't going keep going back and forth with you. I didn't try every which way that I possibly I let you do whatever the fuck you wanted to do to me for months and for years, basically. And at your expense, though. I mean, I was one, that shit that bitches would love to have at my age, that age. Anyway, an older motherfucker to just take care of them. But what people don't realize is they do go through a lot of shit. A lot of these famous bitches that got niggas that take care of them, they go through a lot of shit, okay? It's not just, oh, he's taking care of me. He is belittling you. He is disrespecting you. He feels like he has one up over you. This is not the first guy that took care of me and me lived at their house and I had to do shit. I was conditioned that way. I'm just at 30. Well, I'm going to say maybe at like 26, I just learned to really live on my own, because that was basically my life. Like, my baby father and everybody else was like taking care of me. I didn't really have to work. I didn't really have to do anything but just exist. So that's why I kept going to school, because it wasn't okay at your expense. Cool. But anyways, my baby father came home and I moved back into my apartment with my baby father, and my Leo was absolutely distraught, because I feel like I was more of a comfort thing for him than I was an actual companion. And it wasn't working out with my baby father after a couple of months, and I went back to where a man was at, because not for nothing, even though Leos are everything you could say under the book, they're loyal. They are not committed, or what are they are not monogamous, but they are loyal. If they love you, you will always have a place in their heart. You will always have a place to stay. You will always have somebody in them, much like Cancer. But I'm trying to get my best friend to do a YouTube with me about how I met him, because that should be cute. Okay, but yeah, Cancers are loyal like that too. But anyways, moving forward, I left him for a couple of months, explored with my baby father. I wound up getting pregnant by my baby father again, and I was dipping and dabbling between my baby father and him. So he knew that it was a possibility that it could be his baby, but he knew damn well it wasn't his baby, because I had been with him for 2 years and I ain't never got pregnant. Every time I kissed my baby father, I was pregnant. So he knew it wasn't his, but he still made it up in his mind that he was going to tell my baby father that it was his. And when he did, my baby father lost his mind, and I wound up getting an abortion, because I ain't feel like going back and forth with that shit. Okay. And after that was all said and done, I was still like low-key texting him or whatever on the phone that my baby father had bought me. And one night I got mad because my baby father didn't come in. It was one of those bad storms, and I went with the Leo and took my son and went and stayed with him in the dark, and we had glow sticks and snacks, and it was fun. And my baby father had to sit in my house in the dark because we had a blackout, and fuck you because you tried it. God rest the dead. But at that time, he needed to know I wasn't the fucking one to play with. Now, after that, the Leo hadn't seen me again in for a long time, because my baby father obviously stabbed me. Okay? I was done. That was it for me. That was enough. My baby father said, bitch, you sit the fuck down, and I sat down. But then my baby father went back to jail. And I moved on with my life. I had met the Scorpio, who is my husband. And, you know, I went through different changes after that. But the Leo never stopped hitting me. I'm going to screenshot. I don't know, because I deleted my Facebook. It may not be in my messenger anymore. If I can, I'm going to screenshot you how this nigga texts me. They are, when the Lord, let me tell you something. When them Leos love you, okay, when they're serious about you, they are nuts. Okay, if just because you don't answer back don't mean that they won't say something. They will message you every fucking day, and at the first chance you get to let them get a little leeway, they're gonna pounce on you. Much like a cat or a tiger or whatever, they are hunters and they're here to hunt your ass. Okay. So when I first moved here, I had reconnected with him because he works right down the street from me, and you know he's like, "Yo, let me just take you out." And I'm like, no. And he's like, no, I'm serious. Like, I never told you, you know, that I really did love you or whatever. You could have got married. Like, we could have got married. All you had to do was just shut the fuck up and just sit there. You wanted to rebel. So I'm like, whatever, I don't want to hear that shit. Where you want to go? So he like, well, where do you want to go? And I'm like, well, I like to go to Atlantic City. Bitch, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. This motherfucker lived with a bitch at the time. He lived with a girl. He came and picked me up at 2 o'clock in the morning and took me to Atlantic City. I made like maybe like $800 or $900 off his 100. I didn't get him shit. I didn't fuck him, and I went the fuck home. I haven't seen him since. That was it for me. Because I was already turned off. You put me through too much, and you know when the Gemini is done, it's done. It's over. We will use the fuck out of you after that because you don't have no other use. And we feel vindicated for using you because, bitch, you played. The whole time when we really was liking you, you played. So now when we get to the point where we don't need you no more, oh, baby, you might as well keep your hands in your pocket, or my hands going to be in your pocket after that, because I'm going to get everything back that you took from me, spiritually and physically back, okay? Okay? Because I wasn't tapping your pockets before. I just was staying with you because you needed comfort. But now that I don't give a fuck no more, you better keep your hands in your pocket or just throw down your wallet, okay? So, next Leo. Okay, because this story is over with him at this point. Next Leo that I meet recently, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I'm out. I'm going through shit with the Taurus. Me and the Taurus aren't talking. We're having our falling out. And, you know, this Leo, I see him the first time. And he is the epitome of Leos, too. This is the one that really shows the characteristic traits of a Leo. And he got blocked real fast. So the first time I meet him, I'm with my Pisces friend. Remember, for those of you who watch all my fucking story times, my Pisces friend is the one that's outgoing and knows everybody already. So I'm with my Pisces friend, and, you know, she's talking to one of his friends. And he's like, hey, what's up? He's mad cool. Calm, though. Smoking hookah ass nigga, but very well dressed. I peeped that from the very beginning because you can't miss a well dressed nigga. So, you know, he's like, you know, what's up? And he's looking at me. He's trying to see if I got a big stomach. Because I had on those biker shorts and then I had on like a regular t-shirt. I wasn't trying to be dressed up. And I did have a little pudge. Pudges is cute though, niggas. Don't get it fucked up. There's a lot of good pussy underneath that pudge. So anyways, moving forward, he's trying to peep out how big my stomach is or whatever. So I just came out and asked him. I'm like, why the fuck you keep staring at me like that? He like, because you're pretty. I'm like, no, but you're not looking at my face. What do you want to know if you just asked me? So he like, no, I was trying to see whether or not, you know, you had a big stomach or not, or if you was pregnant in the club. I'm like, bitch, I pulled my shirt up. I'm like, no. He like, oh, well, I'm like, I'm a little fat. He like, no, you're the perfect size, because they love to flirt with you, okay? They flirt right off the bat. Big flirts, heavy on the fucking sleeves, okay? So he's like, nah, you the perfect size. I was just trying to make sure, you know, it wasn't what I thought it was, because your shirt is big. They also are like body, okay? They like body. They like bitches with body. You have to have some type of body for the male Leos. The female Leos like to keep their bodies nice, okay? But they don't mind a little chubby chaser. So, But be careful, because chubby chasers, they will use you because they know that you're insecure. So, the first couple of times, I did not give him my number. I wasn't that interested in him. I would just see him out, but he was fucking. He was, something about him was very attractive, because again, we have that magnetic pull to them. And he was offering me shit the first time that I met him, which made me kind of, you know, what you say you had? He like, drink. I'm like, no, I don't drink like that. I gotta drive. He like, what kind of car do you drive? So I tell him, and he's like, oh, well, I'll give you one of my cars if you crash your car. And my little gold digging ass Pisces friend is like, bitch, did that nigga just offer you a car? And I'm like, girl, bye. These niggas offer me way more than a fucking hoopty. So he's like, oh, well, I'll buy you a bottle. What you want? You want some weed? What do you want? And I'm like, why you keep trying to give me stuff? What do you want from me? So he like, nothing. I'm just trying to get you to loosen up. You kind of uptight. I'm like, I'm inquisitive. I'm watching my surroundings. You should try it. Because meanwhile, while he's doing all of that, I'm looking at my tourists look at me like, bitch. So anyways, time goes by. I see him out a few times, and then I take his number or whatever, because now at this time, me and the tourist have completely gotten to the point where we're not speaking at all, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like, you know what, I have to move on with my life. We're not having sex anymore. You know, he out here talking to other bitches. Let me get my shit together and start talking to other people. So I give the Leo my number. And immediately I felt like the Leo had a girlfriend. As soon as I took his number down, because I'm asking him after the club what he want to do. And he's like, oh, I don't know. You know, I'm like, okay, well, come to this club with me. He's like, oh, you know, I don't really like going to those type of clubs. It either was that, or he's real, like, bitchy, high-class hoe type shit. Pretty woman shit. Because he was a trash box whore trying to act like he fucking was exquisite or something. So, anyways, I said, you know what, Ashley, I'll take the initiative, because, bitch, you ain't no broke hoe. Invite him out. So, I was getting my candle business together at this time, but I hadn't started selling them. I had to go and get them. And I'm like, well, you know, if you want, you can drive me to go get my stuff, and I will, I'll buy us lunch. And mind you, before that, I asked him what he was doing. And he's like, oh, I ain't doing nothing or whatever. I'm just taking my son to the doctor. Cool. Mind you, he has 6 kids too. And he's asking me if I want to have another kid. And he's telling me like, oh, I'm like, no, I'm not really looking forward to having another kid. He like, well, if a nigga come in you want to keep that baby. And I'm like, so that was a red flag for me right there, nigga. What you just trying to have babies with random bitches, you don't even care. But again, I'm a little interested, because I do want another baby, nigga. Let me see what you have to offer. So, and he's telling me he owns his own business and shit. But they lie so fucking much, baby. His business was using his bitches. Anyways, so I asked him what he's doing, and then he's like, you know, he wasn't doing nothing. He was taking the baby to the hospital or the doctor. So I said, okay, well, after you get finished, you can ride with me to go get my candles or whatever. We'll have lunch. Then all of a sudden, his cousin died. That was his first strike for me, because that's the same lie that my tourist told me when I asked him to do something for me. I think he stood me up one night and told me his cousin died too. So everybody's cousin dies when I need them, okay? So I said, okay, I'll let that one slide. So later on that night, he texts me and he's like, hey, I'm on my way outside. And I'm like, bitch, ain't you the same nigga that just said your cousin died? Why the fuck you coming outside now? And he's like, oh, because I need to get a break. Oh, so you're a lying ass bitch for real, huh? I said, okay. Well, I ain't coming. He ain't say nothing back. The next night, he texts me. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm in the house. Oh, can I come to your house? Blocked. That's it. That's it. Bitch, we haven't even had a date. I ain't even smoked your hookah, and you coming over here talking about, can you fucking come to my house? And you can't even get out the house because your bitch probably on your ass? No, thank you. Leos are extremely toxic, okay? All of them. Females and the males, okay? And I'm just going to have a quick snippet before I end this and tell you exactly why, in my experiences, I feel like Leos are toxic. For one, Leos have the tendencies to think everything revolves around them. The front door, the back door, their door, your ass, your pussy, your dick, your everything belongs to them. Bitch, you should not breathe through your nostrils without thinking of them or considering them first. And if you do, you're a fucked up individual. Why? Because they feel like if you are a part of their life, it is a privilege. No, not the other way around. You are in their life and it is a privilege. And if you feel like they're not a privilege, then at any given time you could leave. And see, well, realistically, that's how a person is supposed to feel. But it is supposed to also be a period where you start to transition and it being you two guys' worlds together. Well, with a Leo, that never happens. You're always in the Leo's worlds. They always feel like they're just putting up with you, or they're helping you, or they're putting you on a pedestal. And it just does not work like that with a Gemini, with an Aries moon, and a Sagittarius rising. Bitch, this is always my world. This is always my playground. And I'm always going to be in control, even if I got to cry and make it seem like you're in control so I can have my way. Two manipulating people can't manipulate. It's a catastrophe. It's a fight. It's a war. Okay? And that's what I get when I deal with Leos. War. Okay? So, I hope you guys like this story time. I don't know if I'm going to be uploading another Cancer video. I definitely don't have that much to say about Virgos. However, I do have 2 incidents with a Virgo, so maybe I'll talk about that sometime during the week. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good night. Goodbye.